for myself, it's just like, comedy is the thing that I think has made this whole kind of conversation possible, because it's such a heavy thing that even you start talking about words like depression or anxiety or suicide, you can just feel people kind of go like this in the audience. And so humor's kind of always been my way to like bring it back, you know, and just sort of invite people into the conversation. So for me, it is a big part of it, for sure. And it's kind of the way in which I feel like I can approach the topic in a different way, because I'm not speaking as someone with a bunch of degrees on the wall or, you know, that sort of thing. I'm using my own personal story, and it's based in personal storytelling. And so that's kind of always been the extra thing that I feel like has enabled me to reach people, regardless of whether people are twice my age in the room or not. Is something like laughter, something we can just all relate to. You don't, you know, it brings you into the moment. And so for myself, like, yeah, it is a really big part of what I do. Obviously, if I go and speak at a, you know, a charity event where they're like, hey, you have 15 minutes and we're trying to get people to, you know, donate a bunch of money to our cause or whatever, then maybe that's not going to be as big of a focus. But for the college events, most of the time, it would be this thing where it's like you have 45 minutes, a microphone, do whatever you want, kind of. And if you just go 45 minutes hard at that topic, you're going to lose people, you know, one way or the other. So for me, I think comedy's always been that extra thing that's just kind of let me reach people. All comedy is, if you really break it down, is kind of like this magic trick where it's like you take people this way and then you go this way. You know, your assumption is that it's going to go this way and then you divert. And with this, there's a natural tension to this whole concept, to this whole conversation that's already built in, that I don't have to do anything for, that I don't have to trick anyone with. It's just how we all feel naturally, because we're like, whoa, like this is getting heavy. And that's the perfect setup in so many ways for a joke, because you're just not expecting it and you want it at the same time, because you're like, somebody make this light now, you know? And I've always thought about this kind of relationship of like heavy and light within this, you know, conversation. And that those two things, when you marry them and you put them together, that's what can actually make it work, you know? Because one of the things I saw really, really early was going and watching other people talk at a live event who would know so much about this, so much more than I could probably possibly know. People who are, you know, 30, 40 years older than me, have all this experience, but they couldn't honestly reach people, because at the end of the day, after 3 or 4 minutes of that, it's just, people just shut down. Not because it wasn't interesting, not because it wasn't fascinating, not because it wasn't intelligent, but really just because this wall goes up that is there to protect ourselves, you know, and then it can't be accessed. And so my whole thing is just trying to bring that down so that people can come back into the moment and go, oh yeah, it's okay. And that's kind of the idea of the whole thing, is to make people feel, you know, comfortable in that.